Guests, if you are able, please stand. Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kiro, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Dr. Richard Davis.
Pini maha e te nui e te rahi e, ko tau e takahi i te ara tō ngaki o, tō tātou o huri nei e. Piki mai, kake mai, haere mai rā, ki te whare o te kāwana tiana roa o te aroa nei e.
O te amorangi ki mua po te hāpai o kimi. E o tau i hōna mana ki tanga ki runga ki tēnā o tātou. E hōnore he kororia he mau ngā rongo ki runga ki te mata o te whenua e whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Arohaina ngā teina e ngā tuakana e noho nei i rungi te whakaro ko tahi pai mai.
Please be seated. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā iwi o ngā hau e whā, tēnei aku mihi mahana ki o koutou. Nau mai, hara mai, ki te whare nei, te whare o te kāwana tianara, kei tāmaki makaurau. Kia ora mai tātou katoa. Distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Government House for today's investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge Mr. Joe Harawira, our kaumātua, and Ms. Puhiwahine Tibble, our kuia. Hosting investiture ceremonies is one of the most important duties that I perform on behalf of His Majesty the King of New Zealand. I'm delighted to bring together such an extraordinary group of New Zealanders. You have each brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to Aotearoa New Zealand through your outstanding achievements and your service to our communities. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I extend my sincerest thanks to you for your contributions. After each recipient is honoured, I invite you all to join with me in congratulating them. Mr. Ward Carmore will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Shay Ronald of Auckland for services to youth. Shay Ronald practiced as a family and youth lawyer, co-authored 6 publications on youth rights and mental health, and authored Let's Talk Court, a groundbreaking resource for young people. She was the Mental Health Foundation's Northern Regional Manager, delivering the Like Minds, Like Mine campaign. As Manager, External Relations Human Rights Commission, she worked to improve communities' access to human rights. She was the Youth Sector Representative and Chair of the Public Advisory Committee to the Legal Services Agency. She was a member of the Health Promotion Forum Council, Auckland Sexual Abuse Help Board, Lotteries Youth Committee, and Ministry of Youth Development's Youth Sector Leadership Group. Ms. Ronald was Senior Solicitor of Youth Law and as CEO of Youthline, which she navigated through the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Shay Ronald, please come forward. Emeritus Professor Dave Towns of Auckland for services to conservation. Emeritus Professor Dave Towns led wildlife service projects that eradicated all rats and rabbits from Korapuki Island in the Mercury Islands. In collaboration with ICA Crop Care Division, he was lead researcher for field tests of the efficacy of different rodenticides, leading to the extermination of rodents from more than 90 New Zealand islands. He was science advisor for pest eradications in the Bay of Islands, Hauturu, Taranga, and Rangitoto Motutapu. He has been involved in 16 successful translocations of 6 species of skinks and 1 gecko to predator-free islands. He has published 83 papers in peer-reviewed scientific journals and has edited or written several books. As a result of Professor Towns' research and trials, hundreds of native species, many of which were on the verge of expiration, are now recovering. Emeritus Professor Dave Towns, please come forward. Mrs. Tamari Hore of Rotorua for services to Māori language education. Tamari Hore, Ngāti Pārua, Ngāti Pikeao, Tūhau Rangi Te Arawa, Rangitāne Ngāti Kahungunu, was a founding member of the Kohanga Reo movement in the South Island and the first kaiako of Te Kohanga Reo o Hohepa in Christchurch. She was employed with the Kohanga Reo National Trust, teaching children at Ngongotaha Kohanga Reo in Rotorua, before becoming a regional manager for the Trust for the Waiariki Tuaretoa region. She remains active as a volunteer for Kohanga Reo in her area and on Ngāti Pikeao Marae. She worked with the Education Review Office to review Kohanga Reo and Kura. Mrs. Whare is a queer and council elder for Ngāti Pikeao, performing kaikāranga for the marae and across the region, and helped through her iwi during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mrs. Tamari Hore, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Dr. Siale Foliaki of Auckland, for services to mental health and the Pacific community. Well, Dr. Siale Foliaki is a consultant psychiatrist at Te Whatuora County's Manukau and clinical lead psychiatrist, Pacifica Health, for Whakarongorau Aotearoa, New Zealand Telehealth Services. He has helped establish several Pacific health organisations. He is on the board of Wakatautua and chair of the Pacific Information Advocacy Support Services, PIASS Trust. He was the lead Pacific researcher in Te Rau Hinengaro, the New Zealand Mental Health Survey. He has held policy roles with the Ministry of Health and the Mental Health Commission. Dr. Foliaki is a dual fellow in adult and child and adolescent psychiatry with the Australia and New Zealand College of Psychiatrists. Dr. Siale Foliaki, please come forward. Mr. Vic Pirihi of Auckland for services to golf and Māori. Well, Vic Pirihi, Ngā Puhi Ngāti Wai, Patuhara Keke, co-launched the Māori Junior Golf Development Program and was executive director. He took players to tournaments, many of whom could not get there themselves, and provided clubs and equipment to get them playing the sport. The program established coaches across the country and, through sponsorships, led talented emerging golfers to international events. Many of his players are now coaching and working within the game. He co-founded the Ngāki Tamariki Trust, which broadened the introduction of golf to young people and established sport and exercise programs in school. Mr. Pirihi played with the New Zealand senior team and was twice New Zealand senior champion. Mr. Vic Pirihi, please come forward. Dr. Simisi Taumoipiao of Auckland for services to education and tourism. Dr. Simisi Taumoipiao is the head of the Tourism Management Department and Director of Pacifica Studies and Relations at the Auckland Institute of Studies, AIS. He has developed academic partnerships and pathways between AIS and several Pacific tertiary organisations and with the Tongan Tertiary Institute sector. He has taught and mentored many Pacific tertiary students to gain their qualifications and employment within sectors that are vital to economic growth. He has been an active researcher in the fields of Pacific aviation, economics, tourism development and Pacific tertiary education. Dr. Taumoipiao has authored many research publications, journal articles and books on these disciplines for Pacific region practitioners and educators. Dr. Simisi Taumoipiao, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mrs. Catriona Foster of Waiheke Island for services to nursing. Well, Catriona Foster has been a district nurse and senior specialist community nurse for the Waiheke Health Trust since 1979. She has led and organised wound management clinics and managed case conferences. She is a founding trustee of the Waiheke Hospice Trust, which provides home-based end-of-life and palliative care. The service enables individuals to remain in their own home by providing support services and supporting families to care for their loved ones at home. She has organised major fundraising events for the Trust. Mrs. Foster has often worked additional unpaid hours due to staffing shortages to care for patients. Mrs. Catriona Foster, please come forward. Mrs. Niall Lewis of Waiheke Island for services to charitable fundraising. Niall Lewis has volunteered with the Waiheke Island-based Jazzy Dean Trust for 15 years, raising funds to help families with sick or disabled children in the local community. She has personally raised more than $250,000 through the propagation and sale of thousands of plants. She has converted her quarter-acre section into a plant nursery, solely for the purpose of raising money for the Trust. Most recently, Mrs. Lewis's contributions have funded a mental health program at the local primary school and the Raukatauri Trust Music Therapy course for children with special needs. Mrs. Niall Lewis, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
New Zealand's honours system is our highest public affirmation of outstanding personal achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear your stories. You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of fellow New Zealanders. In doing so, your contributions embody the spirit of the whakatauki. Me mahi tahu tātou mō te oranga o te katoa. We work together for the well-being of everyone. I urge recipients to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the King of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I thank you once again for your service to our community and to our country. Kia ora, e hui mai tātou I tēnei rā. Now you will see on the back of your program the words to the national anthem in Te Reo Māori and in English. I now invite you to stand with me and join in singing the national anthem.